Hey, welcome to Hear Us Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and we had a little bit of a mishap there, which because we went live for 11 seconds, and then I don't know, OBS decided to just crap itself and screw up. So, oh
And
well.
there is literally a new link being tweeted out right now.
Yeah. So if
So,
you could share out the tweet, which is actually a really good point of just sharing out the tweet anyway. But if you could share out the tweet, which is that probably has the proper link in it, that would be great. Thank you very much, and also don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
oh, he's getting them all in, ladies and gentlemen. Getting them all in.
So yeah, welcome to Hear Us Out, which is we are going to be talking about our predictions for Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and also some of the possible things that will like happen maybe within the MCU as a whole. Which goes, thanks Brew for the 11 seconds, awesome 11-second video. Thanks Brew for that. Which goes,
Good man, bro. I'm so glad that you were there ready to watch as we went live. We did this just to test you. So now we know. Now we know, bro. You're actually ready on time. So thank you.
he's the number one, no, number one guy. Yeah. So this is the thing. We don't know if this is going to be a spoilers, so we will warn you if you are like us who have no interest in seeing any kind of spoilers and want to kind of avoid everything as possible. This might not be for you.
Although, having said that, we should say we're not coming from a place of any knowledge. We haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
Anything that we're basing anything on, we haven't even watched all of the trailers because we've been avoiding trailers to try and do that. I have seen one of the trailers, or maybe one and a half, whatever it is. And anything we say should be out there in the public, or is something that if we picked it up somewhere, you could have picked it up somewhere too. If you're really, really worried, then like Paul says, maybe watch this one on Sunday or Monday after you've seen Doctor Strange. But if we turn out to be absolutely right and spoil an entire movie by guessing, then this really is the maddest of all the universes in the multiverse.
Yeah, we are amazing at our jobs, and we should get a lot more praise.
I think we all know that that's not the case. So I think you're safe.
Yeah, I think we're going to... Yeah, so it's going to be some mad predictions and stuff like that because multitude of... or multiverse of madness. I can't even say the damn word. It's like going to be a crazy movie.
I think so. And look, a little primer for anybody who's not into the whole MCU and all that kind of jazz. Why would we be talking about this? Well, number one, Marvel movies are massive and we happen to like them. But also, this is one of those movies that's going to get a lot of attention. Everybody who doesn't care about comic book movies still knows that the last Spider-Man that came out end of last year, end of 2021, made all of the money, then went back and made all of the money again. And even casual kind of semi-fans or not fans know, oh, wow, one of the reasons it was such a big hit is because it did this multiverse thing where it actually, and in their case, they actually used it to bring cast members or characters played by other people into their movies that had played the character in a different set of movies. So in this case, you had multiple, and it's not spoiling anything at this stage, multiple Spider-Men. So you had the current guy, you had the previous guys, all sorts of good stuff. And that's why, and that's for anybody who doesn't care, but for the people who do care, that's why this one has a lot of weight in its shoulders. Because everybody's expecting this. Remember, Sony owns Spider-Man still, even though it's a Marvel character. Sony have all the business rights. This is the first Marvel, Mickey Mouse, Disney-owned Marvel movie to really go full-on multiverse, which means they could bring people in from other universes. And other universes being, they could, if they want, bring in people from previous Marvel movies from back when they didn't own them, that were made by Fox.
Oh, we hinted it, yeah.
X-Men, yeah, they could pull in the X-Men. You could end up seeing anything from X-Men to God knows what else.
Yeah, like you're going to see. We're fairly sure that Xavier is going to be in this.
His voice is in the trailer, so
Yeah, so
we're
like
safe on that.
we're not going to be overly kind of beating around the bush on that one. Everybody is fairly sure that Xavier is going to be in it, which is a confirmation of essentially that the X-Men, since we all know that Marvel has bought the Fox. Now we don't know which versions and which kind of combinations of maybe some of the characters and stuff like that will be brought into the MCU main, but this is a confirmation that the Fox kind of properties are being in some way sorted and tied together in multiple ways. So we can confirm that more than likely that, Charles Xavier is going to be in this. I would warn that if you have seen the film, don't put it into the chat any kind of spoilers or anything like that. Just a quick warner, just because it has been released today in Europe. And
Yes.
so,
and some people saw previews as early as Monday in some other countries, select screenings. But Paul, fair warning to everybody that this one, we're going to have fun with this, because what we really want to do is me and Paul want to have a chat where we go all over the map and come up with random ideas and tickle each other's funny bone with, ooh, what if this happened and what if that happened? Some of this is going to get comic book nerdy. Some of this is not. Some of this is going to move very, very far away from it and just get into essentially film nerdy. And that's why there's something here for everybody. If you're not into the comic book side of stuff, there's still a film nerdy angle to this. And that is the fun of a big corporation getting to maybe play with toys outside of their current or outside of their previous toy box that are now in their current toy box, and how far you push that. So the idea of, let's say, Professor X, Patrick Stewart, good old Captain Picard, who was leading up the X-Men when Fox were making X-Men movies. He's already done the jump once, because the original X-Men movies. Then there was the X-Men First Class Vaughn generation of where they did more X-Men movies, and Michael Fassbender and who played James McAvoy. So then you had James McAvoy and Patrick Stewart at one point in the same movie, both playing the same character. Now that wasn't different universes, that was young, old kind of whole thing. Right now, the cool thing about the multiverse and madness idea, the Doctor Strange, is that even if he shows up, there's no guarantee that Patrick Stewart would be playing that Professor X. So that doesn't mean that Hugh Jackman comes with him or Halle Berry or anything else. He could quite literally show up and be somebody completely different, because that's how the whole multiverse thing works. It's great. It's a full blank page for screenwriters, except if you base your stuff on comic properties, which is where, Paul, we have to be very careful. Because before anybody starts talking about the House of M and what mutants are and whether or not mutants existed and what they tried to do with Inhumans, for anybody who's really into the MCU and some of the missteps they've made, the fun thing, the reason everybody should be interested in this movie is it's going to be wacky one way or another. They're not going to miss their chance to do some cool stuff. My big worry, Paul, is they're going to chicken out and not do a whole load of cool stuff. Because it's not like Marvel to take massive risks and go, right, we're going to turn this all upside down. The snap when Thanos did everybody in, there was already a second movie that everybody knew we're going to go to that and find out what happens next.
Yeah, we did have a safety net there.
I don't know how mad they're going to be. And the example I'm going to use is the one I talked to you about 10 minutes ago, Paul. There was reports that, there'll be multiple Iron Men in this movie. They'll pay Robert Downey Jr. $100 million for him to show up in a cameo. But then another universe's Iron Man will be Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
To which I say, Disney has a lot of money, but they don't like spending it for no good reason. I don't know if they'd be able to afford to get Tom Cruise, Tom Hanks, Laurence Olivier, Peter O'Toole, everybody to be various Iron Men for a cameo. I don't think they'll be resurrecting Elvis for it. So I think some people have gone too far in their expectations. I think it's going to be a bit more subtle than all that.
I agree to a big extent, but I do think that with some of the popular culture with the memes and stuff like that, and maybe some of the fan theory stuff, that they could also push into that kind of thing a lot, like as in predictions for, so predictions of certain characters, like maybe even having a cameo kind of thing of or an Easter egg of Deadpool kind of thing. They can definitely push that into it by either having like Ryan Reynolds show up, or or just having like Deadpool himself kind of in the background sneaking around or something like that. Because that storyline of Deadpool kills the Marvel universe would have been is a fun multiverse kind of thing. So that's a with including of the multiverse of madness, you could definitely show a sign of Deadpool kind of in the background or some kind of notoriety of Deadpool. But
Both Deadpools as well. That's the thing. The
yes,
fun thing for me, my personal favorite thing if they did it would be Deadpools. So get
hmm
Deadpool as in the Ryan Reynolds red suit Deadpool that he's made now famous,
hmm
and the little known Wolverine created Deadpool,
oh yeah,
where even they've taken the liberty of making jokes about killing that off as an idea. So I would love to see multiple Deadpools, the one that they consider a mistake and the one they consider a success. Just in if they're going to do some sort of cameo laden, crazy multiverse window scene.
yeah, like yeah, you can definitely this is where a lot of the fan theory and meme things can get a stage for a short period of time, so that you can be like, because Disney and Marvel are definitely going to be like, right, we're not doing the thing that seems to be the most popular choice in, as in like, well, for example, John Krasinski. We might actually end up losing. That's weird. Um,
That's new. All right, this
yeah,
is now going to be a shorter video. Let's do it.
yeah. Yeah, so we might actually be able to get which goes some of the more popular things like John Krasinski playing Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, Mr. Reed's Fantastic Four Reeds. So like we could get that, but that could never show up as an actual character kind of thing in the rest of the universe, which goes but it's a kind of like, look, we know you guys are really excited about the possibility of John Krasinski like playing like Dr. Reeds, but we can't, like, he can't play, his schedule's too crazy and we don't have time to kind of like wait for him and stuff, so we have to do what we're gonna do. So here's a little tidbit of a person for like half an hour, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like they're allowed, they can definitely kind of like also finish. Also, the other thing is they can finish off a lot of characters' storylines in this one as well. Some of the characters that they haven't also touched in a while, and be able to kind of uh like who fans may feel that they haven't actually had a proper kind of sign off, or like we could end up having a Hulk scene that actually explains the Doctor Hulk thing finally,
Yeah.
or we're not going to get a Thor one because Thor Love and Thunder is coming out soon, so that's definitely not going to happen. Um,
Thing
but
is, like, I would love them to have fun with this, but
oh yeah,
the director they chose was Sam Raimi. The tone that I'm hearing is closer to horror. It's going to be that level of stuff. Would I love a scene with multiple windows showing multiple universes? One where it's Deadpool from the Fox era, Deadpool from our era, and because Taika Waititi is connected with Marvel, then just a room with Ryan Reynolds and Taika Waititi talking to each other as a nod to the fact that they were both in Green Lantern. Don't bother
yeah,
doing the green suit, but just be like, whoa. And have Josh Brolin's Cable walk by in one, and then go to another window where there's a Thanos, and be like, see, we reuse actors. Haha. They're not going to do that. And part of the reason they're not going to do that is, and I will be upfront, the whole magic end of things is my least. It's the area I'm interested least in this whole universe. I'm more the science magic masquerading as science, or vice versa, whichever way you want to talk about it. But WandaVision, the TV show, made great use of Wanda, or Scarlet Witch, or whatever way you want to view her. It was a fantastic TV show, finally making use of a fantastic character. And this is where we do have to get nerdy for a moment. There is the whole storyline of where the mutants disappear at one point. It's where she utters some famous words of no more mutants and gets rid of them all.
mm-hmm.
Why is that interesting? Because there are no mutants in this Marvel Cinematic Universe. They've gone to great lengths to say that people were special creations and they've used all sorts of euphemisms. They tried the Inhuman stuff and it went really wrong. A rare miss, but Feige can't take the bullet because it was the TV crowd that did that. Essentially, though, my point, if I ever get to it, is she is an incredible character and has a chance to be an incredible character now. And this is
Mhm.
the first movie where she'll get to show that. Elizabeth Olsen is an amazing actress. And because she is like, this is a co-headlining gig essentially between her and Benedict Cumberbatch. So my big hope, my big prediction is that if they do right by Wanda, then you're going to find it's not just going to be she'll appear in everybody else's movies. She may be the lead villain for a while. I'm thinking they may be priming her to be the next big bad for a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with that idea. I think her storyline is definitely leading itself towards a darker path kind of thing. But I also believe that some of the elements of Doctor Strange's darker paths can also be led into. You could end up having, because I know that we're going to have Khan the Conqueror as the major phases big bad, as in he is the Thanos of this phase. You could definitely have essentially a Khan Avengers kind of group being recruited of some of the most powerful people across the multiverse, and Wanda definitely being one of them. You could find that our Wanda are like, is this movie and maybe a couple of others maybe leading up to the fact that she is going to be his right hand woman kind of thing. So like, and also the and the Doctor Strange evilness within this movie, I think also is going to, because we're going to get multiple versions of it, and we've already seen one in What If, so we're probably going to get a similar one to that one. We could be seeing the rise of the Dark Avengers kind of thing, as in, because that'll be pretty. I think that'll be a pretty cool idea, kind of over the MCU's new phase. We got to see Avengers and the heroes kind of come together in a team kind of thing. So let's have a look at the villains kind of growing their kind of Dark Avenger team with Khan the Conqueror kind of thing, which I think would be cool.
And also, like, if we learned nothing about Kevin Feige and the MCU, we know that they love taking a villain and turning them slowly into an anti-hero, and then just full on giving them hero status. So I don't think they're afraid to villainize. So let's say Wanda, because look what they did it with Loki. They, at this stage, I wouldn't be surprised if Ronan the Accuser came through a portal and turned out to be a nice guy. Like there is no fixed state of goody and baddie in all this. And that's one of the reasons that the MCU works. They try and inject a little bit of change and a little bit of humanity, or at least a little bit of realistic character development. And that can go in a good way or a bad way. And I mean good or bad in the kind of hero-villain sense. But I genuinely think that Multiverse of Madness, and I'm setting my expectations very, very low, I think it can do just about anything. Like I said at the start, I don't think Marvel are in the mood to take big risks. So I don't think they will do anything crazy. I think we're going to get an X-Men hint and a decent cameo from Professor X. We'll probably get some other kind of Easter eggy references to other parts of the untouched or untapped Marvel universe. I think the most of this is going to be good Strange, bad Strange, and maybe a couple of other Stranges. And Wanda. Of course, you've got America Chavez. You've got a few other characters that they're going to introduce and give them kind of origins, let's say. But I think for the most part, this is really going to be a Doctor Strange movie, and for me, that's not great because Doctor Strange, as good as he is, isn't my my favorite.
Yeah, I know he isn't. I know the magic side of things, but Wong definitely, he's a, you know.
Wong's cool. Don't get me wrong. Doctor Strange is cool too. I'm into it, but I would love this to be a Wanda-centric story, a la WandaVision. I think it's probably going to be trying to get too much to the next stage for that to happen for her. And I think they're going to have to give Doctor Strange versus Evil Doctor Strange a lot of screen time.
Yeah, I will say that I do think that zombies are going to show up, I have seen this image, and I do think that what if zombie thing is going to come in for a couple of seconds, or a couple of minutes, just as I said, the stretching of the muscle of kind of going, yeah, we had what if, and we might as well just dip into that toy box, as you said before, a little bit more kind of thing, just as a fun little side plot kind of thing. So
Zombie
Um,
Strange.
yeah.
I get you. Well,
Um,
I think they'll do multiple Stranges. And for anybody who doesn't know what What If is the least watched of all the Marvel TV shows because it was animated, but it was set in these kind of alternate universes of what if something was different and then everything was different because of it. So what if Captain America wasn't Steve Rogers and it was Peggy Carter as Captain Britain? Um, like it's all good stuff. I loved What If. Not everybody did, so I hope that they do
yeah.
make use of that again. But you've got some
I'm
Agent
trying to.
Carter
Yeah.
stuff.
No, I just got what if the what if
Ah,
title screen up there. Kind of thing is this
oh,
to
very
show it.
nice.
Um,
Oh, sorry. Yes. If I was to say, Paul, that we're running out of time, are we going to try and pause and resume, or are we going to try and wrap this bad boy up?
let's try pause and resume, and then wrap it up, kind of thing, quickly. Which goes. So I will put it onto the waiting safety thing, and so we'll see you in 2 seconds. All right, guys. Just to
Yeah,
re-add.
this is new.
Yeah, this is new. We'll have to figure something out. Back in 2 seconds.
See you on the other side.
Hey, we're back. Hey, how's it going? That was strange.
Look, I just want to say that this episode, we were going to have one of these at some stage
Yeah.
where we ended up rambling because we had technical difficulties and stuff is just, this is the alternate universe where stuff doesn't go our way. So this is the
Yeah.
this is the multiverse where we have a bit of a mare, but we're having fun with it. So now that there isn't as much pressure that the stream's going to end in 2 minutes, Paul, tell
Mhm.
me overall, I want two things.
Okay.
Are you excited for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness? And if you can only get them to do one thing in it, what would that be? What is the
Ooh.
one thing that if they do it, you'll be like, okay, I'm just glad that they did that.
If okay, so I guess it's a twofold thing because chat have also been saying some things that I've been really interested in, which is the Ed Norton Hulk, um, which would be cool to see a cameo of Ed Norton Hulk. But if they literally just sorted out the Doctor Hulk thing, like that's literally
I
my
could have
only thing.
guessed that.
Like as I said before, if they just had a scene just explaining Doctor Hulk, that way I'd be fine with that. I'd be just like, cool, great, cool, yeah. I'm now, like, if you're talking about what I would love to see, like coming down the road, I would love to see the figure of Doom somewhere. I don't need to see who it is. I don't need to see who is playing them. I don't need to see what they look like. I just want a fairly obvious shot of like Doom in the background of something. Because
And for anybody who's not keeping up, it's Doctor Doom, so that would be very much in line with what's coming anyway, because we know we're getting Fantastic Four at some stage, and obviously it could cross over with Spider-Man and all sorts of stuff.
oh yeah, like I would just love to see a little hint of Doctor Doom in the background of something, not even giving us anything of how he looks or any of the storyline. I would just like a little kind of like, he's coming, lads. Don't worry about it. We know that you've been waiting for a long time for an actual proper Doctor Doom. So, not saying that the Fantastic Four original, not that middle one, and I don't mean the silver. So let's go through it. The Fantastic Four and Fantastic Four Silver Surfer, grand. I actually kind of liked that Doctor Doom. Wouldn't mind
Yep.
if he returned under the guise of either a new Doctor Doom kind of thing. He was pretty good. The Fantastic Four that came out with like uh
It was the Josh Trank one. Yeah, it's
yeah,
terrible. And it had Michael B. Jordan, thankfully, was used again in a
yeah,
much better role in a Marvel Comics property.
yeah. Like if they were just to show that, I'd be really happy, kind of thing. Because Doctor Doom is my favorite villain from the Marvel universe.
Well, I gotta be honest, you're not actually. Ooh, I'll move into the mic. You're not actually asking for that much, because I like we've been talking about, getting small cameos and things like that. There's going to be some. I am worried that they're going to undercook it and hold back a little too much, because they don't like having too much out there and out of control, because they never know what they're going to have to rewrite or rechange in 3 or 4 years because of what happens with future movies. And I think they'll be extra gun shy because of how Eternals worked out for them from a critical and financial point of view. They haven't had the string of hits that they previously had, and this is no Spider-Man, No Way Home. This is not that.
No.
So I guess if I turn the question back on myself, am I looking forward to this? Yes, I am. I like Doctor Strange. Don't get me wrong. I like Doctor Strange, so I'm happy enough to see the next chapter for him. But I'm really into this for Wanda, because there's a character who, got pulled into the cinematic universe rather than ever getting, any proper screen time. It was, Age of Ultron introduced her and her brother. She stuck around, all sorts of good stuff. But it wasn't until WandaVision, the TV show, that I thought, right, they know what they're going to do here. They've got an idea of how they can creatively use this character. So what I'm hoping, the one thing I want from this, is that even if she is pushed, I'm fine with her becoming an anti-hero, full-on villain, whatever it is, whatever way they push her narrative, I hope it isn't just for this movie. That's the one thing I want. I want to go in, I want to come out with whatever the arc was, that she doesn't just become bad for a little bit and then Doctor Strange whispers in her ear and she's like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm better now.
Martha.
If they do that, I'll be upset. Martha.
Yeah.
Why did you say Martha? I don't want that. I want an indication that they've recognized that Elizabeth Olsen is amazing, that this character has plenty to give. I don't care about cameos. If there's absolutely none, I'd be fine with that. If there's no hint that the X-Men are coming, I'll be fine with that too. Everybody's focusing on what they could bring in. I'm focusing on what they could throw out. And if they throw out their opportunity now, this is the first movie since WandaVision, I will be super pissed off if they squander this.
Yeah. Yeah, like I can't. Yeah, no. Wanda is like I loved her in which goes Civil War. Like Civil War was an amazing character development for her and Vision's relationship.
Yep.
And I would if they squander such a powerful and I guess relatable, empathetic character. I think that it would be a pretty bad. It'll be pretty bad to say. It'll be pretty bad. Kind of, I guess, for the future of other characters that are beloved by people. If essentially Wanda gets essentially, yeah, here's your Scarlet or like a Black Widow movie, but we understand that we can't not have other characters in it because it seems like I don't want this to like. I would love to see a Wanda, a Scarlet Witch movie come out of this kind of thing, or that she becomes essentially a pinnacle villain within the universe. As in, if they were to give her a really good story arc in this, and then it warrants a hero, her as the central hero character of a standalone movie, I'd be just like, I'm all for this. If they decided that she is going to become a major villain within this phase, I'd be just like, okay, I'm also awesome with this because you are keeping her in the MCU as a pinnacle role that I really enjoy.
Just don't get distracted by the bells and whistles and mess up the one thing that you've already got going good. And I want to show to the comments really quickly, Paul, because Jared, good man, Jared, some great comments, by the way. Thank you. Fantastic Four. Yes, can't wait. for whatever they do with the Fantastic Four. And for my money, Fantastic Four and X-Men and mutants and all of that, it can all happen simultaneously and still. So I know a lot of people are saying, oh, well, they've got to drip feed this stuff in. Now, you do it right, you can do anything in this kind of universe.
Mm-hmm.
But the comment I wanted to go to was WandaVision was really good. Definitely some questionable moral, ethical questions raised. And you could argue Wanda was already the big bad. And that's exactly it. As we've talked ad nauseum on this, I'm into anti-heroes. I'm into people of questionable character even. It's just much more compelling and much richer from a storytelling point of view. Did we empathize with Wanda and feel sorry for somebody who was lost, was yearning for the love of Vision, who had died? Yeah, all the while they made us feel sorry for her while realizing, hang on, is somebody literally taking hostage an entire town of people and torturing them in the most thought-provokingly cruel way, as in it makes you think about the meaning of what she was doing and how damaging it was, and how some people could write it off as not damaging. I love that. More of that, please. That's what we need. We need things that are not simple, things that are not. I'm not going to pick on Ant-Man, but there's a couple of different ends of where I want things. Sometimes I'll want a simple heist. Sometimes you want your real kind of look at human morality or mutant morality or whatever it might be.
Well, we've always said that the reason that we have, by the way, we have a list of our top picks of villains from the MCU. The reason that we've picked our top like three is because that they always have complicated storylines in some factor. Like I like I'll pick a couple out of the hat, like not to spoil that show if you haven't seen it. You should go watch it. Killmonger, since we were talking about Michael B. Jordan, he is one of our favorites villains, and the reason is because his story is very complex, and the character it shows by his ways of doing things, which are methodical and everything, was very complex as well. And we like those villains. We like the villains that like we can see a part of their reasoning and kind of logically can talk about, like can get there ourselves. Which good, like Baron Zemo, we were all just like, this is a revenge movie, like from Civil War. This is a revenge movie for him. He, like, if you were to flip this, like he is the hero. He is a person who has no power, yet is able to, like, tear a organization apart, all under the guise of revenge. And it's a complex like story where you can see the morality of what the Avengers do on a daily basis, battling big things and stuff like that, and crushing normal people, that one of these people have decided to fight back. This is which is an interesting villain story kind of thing. So Wanda is probably one of the most interesting villains we could possibly get throughout this phase, in the sense of she was a hero. She was a hero. We've all seen this, but because of the crushingness of life, in a sense, like we all can't stand like Captain America against every single thing that happens to us. We're not like you're not Superman.
And I love Captain America, but yeah, it can't be one flavor only.
Yeah, and it's interesting to see the toll that it takes on a character that has had questionable starts, and that flash of hope taken away from them, and then stuff like that. Like Wanda would be an excellent villain as a right hand person to Khan for this phase. You'd be looking at this is the thing, is it would be on the level of Apocalypse's Horseman, where he changes.
Or Mr. Sinister,
not the movie, but from the comics, as in he Apocalypse twists heroes to become his right hand men, right hand, like his horseman of the apocalypse, which is great. It twists characters that we know are morally good and stuff to being the ultimate bad, and you're just like, okay, cool, I'm really into this because I now get to see a hero become a villain, which unlike the rest of the series, we've only seen villains become villains, which has been good, but because Marvel's been good at being able to make complex villains.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, Wanda's been through the ringer in so many ways. She had personal trauma that led her to get involved with bad people who then either awoke some latent mutant genes, depending on what story they end up having to turn it into. But essentially, she becomes enabled or powered by evil people, and she is their tool. But they use her misdirected and misguided rage, legitimate rage, and then she goes through a few journeys, and I think she can go through a few more. And again, all I'm saying is take her on any journey they want. Don't try and squeeze it into one Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah,
Don't try and have it be a full circle up and back down again. It would be too much too fast.
like yeah, it would be an interesting kind of yeah. I don't want this to be. I would like to have this mostly as a standalone film within the MCU of just having a complex story within for Doctor Strange and Wanda and stuff like that, and then have which goes on to the next movie and the next phase, but then also have the one shots of kind of popular cameos and stuff like that from the pop culture things. Like that's what I don't want the whole movie to be a standalone movie. I would prefer it to be kind of these things are standalone. We won't be bringing them in, but we wanted you to see them and have that kind of woo kind of thing. But we are moving on with these things kind of which are more important, and they've done them right kind of thing.
So Paul, back to predictions.
Mhm.
I've got another one for you.
Go for it.
They're going to lose with somebody. There's no way they can do this and make everybody happy. And I know that we all thought that about Endgame, and then they did. But this one, they really can't. There's been too much that's happened that will. There are people who want exactly opposite things. So both of those groups can't be made happy. So I really do hope that they stick with the mantra of the comics don't matter. This is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Use the comic storylines, use what you have, use what you can and what you need and what you would love to and what we all want you to, but don't bind yourself. Because if they lose the C part of MCU, this is the cinematic universe. They've got to think this is our stories again in another format. This is the literal multiverse. There's the paper verse, and this is the celluloid verse, or as it might be, the digital comic page and the digital video. I really do hope, because so many people are pushing for, oh well, Magneto's got to show up. Now because he's got to turn out to be Wanda's dad. And there has to be instead of her saying no more mutants, she'll say the words mutants, and that's how they get brought into existence. And he comes down and saves her. Whatever fantasy people have. Don't get me wrong. If they do it, that's fine. But they're not going to be able to make everybody happy. So I still do hope that they try and make this something, because they've had a few now that would put people off the MCU if it was their introduction. Like Iron Man is a long time ago. They can't make this one too challenging for the average person to actually enjoy without having watched 24 movies before it.
Yeah, it is a big thing with me that if they are specific, I like the idea of trying to bring in the TV shows as part of the MCU, but I don't like the fact that you might be forced to watch them.
Yeah,
Like as an I like them as kind of like these are additives. These are stories that slightly impact the MCU or the MCU, but you don't have to don't worry. Like for the first 15 minutes of a film or somewhere in there, we're gonna give you a bit of
exposition, so they get you set up.
Yeah, kind of thing, like, or up to speed or something like that. I don't like the fact that it's just like, if you don't watch Moon Knight, which ended yesterday, which is that if I haven't watched Moon Knight that ended yesterday, that there's something in this film that I'm going to forget or not get, kind of thing. Like if they're just like, oh yeah, by the way, this, because I haven't actually seen the last episode yet. But like, if they're just like, oh yeah, Kamsha is like, also in the Illuminati, and he's sitting there, and I'm just like, or someone else that's really important from the ending of Moon Knight is sitting on one of those Illuminati chairs, and I'm just like, who the hell is that? Just because I missed it, kind of thing. But
I know exactly what you mean, and I think if you can't watch this and enjoy it without having seen any of the other Marvel movies or TV shows, then there's a problem. All their movies still need to retain that one thing. You'll get maximum enjoyment if you're up to speed, but you're only going to lose 10 or 15%, and it's still going to be, brilliant if you've never watched any of it. You should not need to know how or why Iron Man died. You shouldn't. If you do, then they've failed. And I think Eternals and a few other things that have been misfires from keeping people in the fold. Remember, we are very, very, very lucky. Years ago, people laughed at the idea of anybody ever taking a comic book property as a movie seriously.
Yeah.
And now we've had 10 years of them being the biggest things and being talked about as art, as they should be, and amazing storytelling, amazing cinema experiences, amazing movie making, all of the legitimate things that need to be said about movies. They got to be careful. They just have to be careful. And this is one of the ones I'm like, ooh, don't lose sight of where you are, because you are not Spider-Man. You're not Spider-Man. That's the one thing I'd been shouting at them, going, don't try too hard. Make your movie the way you would have made it, even if Spider-Man and What If hadn't given you the multiverse open, and Andrew Garfield and the other lad, what's his name? Tobey Maguire hadn't made billions rain from the sky.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, like it's this one's a dangerous one because it opens the door to a lot of possibilities, and I saw that Jared is also saying that this is a possible universe reset. And I wouldn't put it past, like, because and I know we were talking about how they shouldn't really take the Marvel comics. Marvel comics are famous for resetting their whole thing. Last time, I might be out of touch with it, but the last time was the War Worlds storyline of resetting the universes, which was a crazy one. But like, that's what I'm saying. So like, I hope that they just have fun with this. Whatever story plots that need to be told for the next phase, or to set up and help us with the next phase, are clear. And stuff, and the stuff that isn't going to be moving on to the next one is also clear, that it's just like, this is for you for fun, this is not moving on. Don't get your hopes up about it. But these things are more important. I also see that the animated character, like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, if they bring in, and I swear to God, I have two predictions. No, one prediction, but if they bring in Spider Pig, if they do, I will lose my shit in the cinema.
That would be amazing.
Like, and the second thing, the prediction is that at some point within this movie, as they jump universes, they will change style. So they will at one point they will turn animated. The entire group. I say,
I will bet you this microphone that doesn't happen.
Oh, really?
I would say in this movie they will not take that level of chance.
I hope they do. I hope they do, and it's a crazy prediction. So if they change, I think that they could possibly have a short period of time where they're jumping through a load of universes at the same time, and one, like, as kind of like still, like, not even stills, but a couple of seconds thing, they might have just a different styling kind of thing.
I don't get me wrong, I'd be down for it. I would happily lose this bet, but it's kind of up there with the whole Tom Cruise showing up as one of the many Iron Men. I don't know if they're ready to take that chance. Plus the fact, one of the biggest properties that Sony's been able to pull out of the Spider-Man franchise is Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, I know.
And as much as Marvel are playing nice with Sony, they're not that into the idea of them making much more money with their properties than they can.
Yeah, no, I as I said, I would lose my shit if it would be if he just appeared like in one kind of sense. I do, because we're coming up to time. I do like, so on screen is essentially one of the shatter glass kind of things. I do like how they've hidden a lot of tells and stuff like that within the glass shards. I'm not going to pull out any specifically ones, but you can go see these online. But there's little cameo parts within the shattered glass, and as you go further and further back, and somehow do the what is it, the Super Troopers in hands, which goes.
Enhance.
There is some tells of certain things and stuff like that. There's a couple of other ones I think that come through. So there's also this poster, with the IMAX poster, which can I just actually, the one thing that I do have to say about the Doctor Strange thing is the posters are fucking fantastic.
They really
Like,
are.
they're so good
They
posters.
really are.
Like, look at these posters. Like, it doesn't like it. We keep out every now and again we say that a Marvel film has upped its game on the poster things. But Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness has really, really pulled it out of the bag, I have to say.
Yeah,
Like,
and we do appreciate a strong poster game. In fact, for anybody watching, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. But most importantly, comment and say what you think. But go check our old video archive and just search for posters, because we did a cool episode on some amazing video posters over the years. Not necessarily to do with comics or anything else, but posters is a personal interest of both myself and Paul.
yeah, yeah. Which goes, um, and also I'm excited with the inclusion of Marika Shives, which has been played by, I'm gonna say X Gomez because I cannot butcher her name.
Well, I have no idea. Look, I did not even bother looking up the name of the person playing America Chavez because I, like you, probably would have ruined pronunciation. But also, the only thing I know about her is she seems like a really cool. I saw her being interviewed on YouTube. Seemed like a really, really cool actress, and I hope she has a great time. I hope this is a kickoff spot for her. I'm all into new characters. This is a good excuse to add somebody new. They're going to be doing more and more and more of that, I hope, because they've got to refill their roster. But also, they've got such a wide and deep bench that they should, any chance they get to throw somebody in there,
Yeah,
you know, give it a whirl if you feel that it can fit the story. And if it doesn't work out, not everybody's going to show up for every movie, and that's fine too. Not everybody needs their own movie. You know who proved that? Wanda. Wanda proved that. Do you know how she proved that? By being cool in a load of movies and then them realizing, oh, we can make one of the most creative TV shows ever out of her. So you never know what'll happen in the future for this young actress.
yeah, and it's going to be a major role, so I'm
Mhm.
excited to see her play, which goes to America Shive. So I'm probably also butchering that name, so I will quickly run away from that thing. But Patrick, so any final predictions for this?
There will be at least two post-credit scenes, and only one of them will be any good. Because that's now the Marvel universe we live in. Do you remember when you used to live for a post-credit scene, and then they started doing,
The mid
Bruce
ones.
Banner psychology, on a couch jokes. They started just taking the mick with some of them. I think there'll be one decent post-credit scene. There may be 3 or 4 of the damn things, but most of them will be inconsequential, and one of them will blow your socks off. But it seems to be all they have in them. So that's my final prediction. That we're all going to sit there probably needing a pee and be
after
talking about one of the post-credit scenes and going, the other 2 were crap.
after drinking what, a 2 liter drink of or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it
a liter of
happens.
water.
It happens to me all the time. I say this. I'll say to this. Give you a little personal thing. I sweat when I really need to pee, and I sweat badly. Don't know what it is about my body. Don't know
Fair
what it
play.
is, but it's
It's
just
doing what it can to get it out there.
like Gemma, my partner is just like, "Oh my god, what is wrong with you?" And I'm just like, "Yeah, that's what's going on."
Well,
Um,
since you were brave enough to share something about your cinema urination issues, I will share one also because it feels like the right thing to do, and this is getting weird. I have hit the end of movies needing to pee so badly that I've found a position where I've watched the end of the movie and I have to stay perfectly in that. And if there's a post-credit scene or something, if I stand up, I know I better be able to get directly to a toilet. So I will sit there through the end credit scenes, let everybody walk out, and I'm maybe sometimes in a pose where I'm sitting kind of at a 45-degree angle to the side from the seat or something. Look like I'm side saddling my own uh, like cinema seat, but I cannot move, or else I will have to be able to sprint to the nearest toilet. So yeah, if you ever leave a cinema and you see me looking like I'm doing some sort of weird statue game, it's probably because I need to go and have done since the third act fight started.
Look, all I'm saying is not all heroes wear capes. All right.
No,
Not all
but
heroes wear capes. We stick case.
we should all wear diapers though. Yeah.
You're
So
the light
Paul,
of
here's
movies.
out brought to you by Depends. This week, well, at some stage, can Manscaped or Keeps or Clash Clans or somebody let us know. We'll take
Or
any
raid.
ads you want. There you go. Cove Audio, all those good people. Yeah, or Me Undies. I'd like some free pants.
Or
See, now we're just listing out other people's YouTube ads.
we are, yeah. We're even just giving them free advertisement by just saying their names.
Do they not owe us just for saying their names? That's not how this works. Damn it.
Anyway, which could like, subscribe, ring that notification bell, which could let us know some of your which could predictions, crazy predictions in the comments and below. We will probably hide or somehow remove spoilers if there are ones on this video, probably for a short period of time anyway, just to kind of protect the audience as general. So if you cannot be trolls and stuff like that by messaging, I'm opening myself up for this.
Yeah, you're bringing it on. Say nothing about it. What I would also like to say is anybody who's stayed with us or anybody who's watched the video to this point, this has been by far, we've done some weird videos, but this has been our oddest from not just the technical stuff, just energy topic, all over the mapness, talking about urination. I would like to thank you, and I would also like to recommend that you check out our video library by going to the video section. We have long and short, and I'm sure if you go back into our archives, we'll have something you're interested in. So please don't sleep on our old stuff. A lot of it's actually some of our best stuff. So thanks for joining us on this moment of madness. And Paul, I don't know what we're doing next week, so I'm just going to say over to you to say the famous last words.
I've been Paul.
I've been Patrick.
And we've been Here Sight.
And we will see you next time.
See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.